You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I am back, Rudrance, for Black and White Sports 2. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe, like, comment. I'm sure you guys will have a lot to say about this. So, the NFL, as we know, has gotten into bed with gambling companies. I guess, was last season the first? Last season might have been the first time that really rose up. But, of course, we've all seen the commercials with Peyton and Eli and Archie Manning involving betting. And they're all out there, right? Kevin Hart's got that commercial. DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, all this kind of thing has become commonplace on NFL television during games. That's right. Well, then you have the rise of many, many fans, and people don't realize, I would say a good, especially, for example, after the fallout of the Bengals and the Chiefs this year, you have many, many fans, maybe 10, 15% of fans right now, that's 10 to 15 out of every 100, by the way, that really suspects or believes the NFL has got some kind of WWE kind of rigging going on or scripting going on. That is something, believe it or not, that has caught a lot of fire. I've seen it in the comment sections a lot. Well, the NFL is bracing right now because the NFL is doing investigations and they are finding out they may be vulnerable, and there is another wave, it looks like, of violations coming to the NFL involving their gambling policy, and this means something to do with either coaches, personnel, staffers, players. It seems like how many people involving the Lions got actually released and or suspended? Their future star wide receiver, Jameson Williams, is suspended. We saw Calvin Ridley get suspended. This is an issue, and a lengthy ESPN article has came out and has said some things, and we'll get to that after we cover this part. As the NFL makes more and more money from legalized gambling, the NFL faces more and more problems from the involvement of players and others connected to the game and wagering on sports. This is Florio. David Purdom of ESPN.com, I've got that article up right here, reports that the NFL is currently investigating a new wave of potential violations of its gambling policy. This development comes just weeks after 5 players were suspended for either betting on pro football, minimum 1 year, or betting on other sports while on team property, 6 games. In other words, they're at the Lions facility or whatever facility or at the field, and they're laying wagers down, for example, on NBA games. This is a violation. Now, you would think they would just come out and just have one fell swoop of it is a violation of policy in the NFL to bet on any kind of sports. But it also looks extremely hypocritical because, of course, the NFL is now in bed with all these gambling companies. Okay, and they're getting called out by a lot of fans on this exact thing. No details have been provided regarding the nature of the violations. It's one thing for the NFL to have evidence fall into its laps, as it does when sportsbooks tell the league that players and or non-players are using gambling apps on their own phone. It's quite another to be proactive and creative in the exploration of more subtle efforts to place bets. The possibility of people influencing the outcome of certain waiters and or handling of inside information. The league needs to take this seriously. Just one scandal can spark legislation or prosecution and or regulation. And if it's not an issue that lands front and center on the agenda for the spring meetings in Minneapolis, it should be. Let's go over to this lengthy article In what ways is the NFL vulnerable to the violations of gambling policies? Preventing a player from placing bets on the NFL is extremely difficult. There are many workarounds to avoid detection, such as having an associate place a wager for a player. It's a violation of the gambling policy, but difficult to detect unless the player does it from its phone on location. Players could also bet outside of the regulated betting market in the U.S. with an offshore sportsbook or local bookmaker who don't have partnerships with the league or are not obligated to alert the NFL of such activity. Deterrence might be the biggest weapon the NFL has in combating violations to its gambling policy. But the recent suspensions show it's not without limitations. Is there any evidence of game manipulation? This is the issue right here. The NFL says it's found no evidence of game manipulation in any of the suspensions that have occurred in recent years. High Hill says the league analyzes betting information made available by regulators and sportsbook partners to look for signs of manipulation. Signs of manipulation could include unexpected or unusual odds of movement or suspicious betting patterns, such as a type of prop betting attracting more wagering than normal. Quote, we have seen no evidence of game manipulation to date. How does the league reconcile its gambling policies, partnerships, and policies? This is where they're really running into a hypocritical issue from a lot of fans. At least two stadiums, Arizona's State Farm Stadium and Washington's FedEx Field, will have sports books on the premises this season. In March, the league owners voted to allow stadium sports books to remain open on game days, a change in NFL policy. The league also allows up to 6 sportsbook commercials during game broadcast. We just talked about that. Quote, professional sports leagues have largely embraced sports betting as a profitable venture. A Washington, D.C.-based attorney who advises NFL players on the league's gambling policy told ESPN, quote, this is evidenced by many in-person sports books connected to sports stadiums and the advertising deals between the sports league and sports betting apps. Despite actively encouraging its fan bases to bet, the NFL has implemented a zero-tolerance policy for its players. There is a distinct lack of nexus between the harm the NFL is trying to prevent and the gambling policy in practice. As a result, most players who engage in sports betting are not doing anything illegal. They are simply not in compliance with a broad company policy governing player behavior. High Hill says regardless of the NFL's commercial activity in sports betting space, protecting the integrity of the leagues is the league's number one priority. Quote, there's simply no way to have any tolerance when it comes to our players, coaches, or staff betting on NFL football. As individuals involved with the NFL, whether a player, personnel, or staff, we have different obligations and in some cases relevant state laws than our fans that mean we cannot bet on football. This should not be surprising or controversial. Man, this is a very slippery slope. I mean, they're trying to jump through all these hoops to try to prevent it, but you've jumped in bed with it. Again, like I said at the beginning, a lot of fans are very skeptical. In other words, they're giving the gas face. They're giving the fuzzy eyeball at the league. You got all these commercials going on. You're making a shit ton of money. Okay, and you wonder, why are these leagues, why do they continue to make all these political agenda decisions and social justice and blah, blah, blah? It's because of 2 reasons. It is because of television revenue, far as contracts. Networks are willing to overpay. That's part of the problem and why there's no reining in of political agendas in sports. And betting companies subsidizing these leagues now. The offset of any, we did lose some advertising money because blah, blah player kneeled, but we got paid on the back end and even more so from sports betting. So it's okay. Let's just sell our souls to the devil. I mean, and for the record, I don't really have any problem with sports betting from fans, but look, you get in bed with these sports betting companies. Now you're going to have two of them on your actual stadium premises at the stadiums? Okay. That's going to be a slippery slope for more and more fans. Look, every time there's a controversial outcome, a call that doesn't look right, whatever, and a lot of people, I looked down in the comment section of PFT, and I almost went through, and we almost went through those comments because some people in the comment section said, you damn sure need to look at your refs. A lot of people are starting to feel that way. You know, a lot of sports fans believe, a lot of NFL fans believe, there is a smidgen of Vince McMahon here, not Roger Goodell, or, you know, Roger Goodell becoming Vince McMahon. But you know what I mean. That blurring of the line between sports entertainment. We know how pro wrestling works. I cover it on this channel. I'm a wrestling fan. But it's not supposed to be the NFL. It's not supposed to be actual competitive sport. Interesting. And now they're investigating, and they've got more players or staff or coaches caught up in more gambling issues. We don't know what that is yet. When we find out, we'll let you know. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.